مرحبا وأهلا وسهلا. أنا اسمي Jonathan Mansour. This is our last episode of the fall 2025 semester for Titan Sports, the show where we provide you with the latest news in the world of sports and here at Cal State Fullerton.
Hola fanáticos de Titan Sports, soy Christian Elias.
Ahoy, moi meno y Sasha Pytell.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Justin Rosette. We have a lot to talk about today, so without further ado, let's get the ball rolling one final time.
December football has arrived with playoff chances, seedings, and divisions on the line. But some things just never change as the Green Bay Packers still own the Chicago Bears, defeating. The first quarter featured a defensive standoff between both teams. DJ Gardner-Johnson on the Packers' first drive. The Packers flipped the switch in the second quarter with a Jordan Love dime to Christian Watson for a 23-yard touchdown and another 45-yard touchdown pass to Bo Milton to send the Packers into halftime leading 14-3. After a quick 3-and-out from the Packers to start the third quarter, Olamide Zaccheaus adds on for the Bears to keep it a 3-point game. But Watson later responds with his second touchdown of the game, extending the Packers' lead 21-11. Cairo Santos then knocked down his second field goal of the game to keep it a one-possession game. The Bears tied the game in the fourth quarter with a Colston Loveland touchdown, but it was once again short-lived as Josh Jacobs retook the lead for the Packers 28-21. The Bears had their final hopes on 4th and 1, but Caleb Williams was thinking too much about being performative before he threw a ball right to Keyshawn Nixon in the end zone for the game-sealing interception, securing the win for the Packers. Not only did the Bears lose in heartbreaking fashion, but the Packers also knocked the Bears out of the 1 seed and retook first place of the NFC North. So guys, the NFC playoff picture is very tight, and with this game now, the Packers have now jumped the Bears for the first place spot in the NFC North, but these two teams will get a crack at it once again in 2 more weeks.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, the division wasn't on in this one, and then a lot of double whammies. You go from the 1st seed to the 7th seed after this loss, which is really crazy, which how stacked this NFC is, and right, but for the Packers, they're finally making some noise, especially before they defeated Lions, the past couple of games before that game. They've barely been winning, especially against teams that they shouldn't have been, like, for once, the Giants, right? There's already a giant question where the Packers were contenders, pretenders, whatever. We've had the discussion before. But after that Lions game, after this game, they're finally making some noise, and to see they're one of those top teams in the league. You're looking at defense on the Micah Parsons side, right? He's still getting double-teamed. This game, he had 8 pressures. The team combined was 10. So he is still being the Micah Parsons that we know. He's getting the double-digit sacks. He already broke the record for getting, I believe it was the record, but being another player for 12-plus sacks in every season so far. So he's making a lot of noise. Everything's clicking for the Packers. As for the Bears, Caleb Williams stat line, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then the game-sealing interception there too. Everything was started slow for the Bears. Nothing was cooking. But towards the end, they finally getting some rhythm. But at the end of the day, these slow starts are not going to kill you, especially against the Packers team where everything's rolling with them. And then Watson, 89 yards for the 2 touchdowns. The Packers don't have necessarily a number 1 receiver. This is the one thing with the Packers I've been saying all season. There's not really a solidified receiver 1, right? You have him, you have Romeo Doubs, and then you still have Matthew Golden, who hasn't been making noise at all there too. It's going to be whether or not one of these guys are going to have to step up later in the long run. As right now, Christian Watson, he's looking like that guy right so ever. But then you got Dontavian Wicks, not so much there too. But 12-1 in the last 13 minutes against the Bears. Jordan Love is 4-1 against the Bears so far all-time season. The Packers 4-0 in the division this season so far, so everything's clicking for them.
I think this may come as a surprise, but I'm honestly more impressed by the Chicago Bears in this game. I think we've already seen the Green Bay Packers be a decent team, a playoff team now for a couple of years. With the Bears, they obviously were very bad last year. People are saying Caleb Williams is a bust. He's not, he's not going to be that guy for this team. He's not the guy who's projected to be. But coming this year with Ben Johnson coming over from Detroit, this team has looked so good. They're on, I believe, a 7-game win streak. And so to even be first place for them, it seems like they sort of, I guess, sped up the rebuild. Like, they're already first place in the NFC in their first year with the new head coach. So to me, the Packers should have won this game. But to me, the big deal was the Packers were up by 2 scores multiple times. We were watching this game in the newsroom. Caleb Williams had like 20 passing yards in the first half, and the Packers were not able to pull away. In the second half, Caleb Williams came. He made some crazy throws in there. The Bears defense buckled down. Unfortunately, at the end, it was a little too much for them. That it was the errant fourth down throw from Caleb Williams. But to me, this showed that the Bears are a force to be reckoned with. They could have gone into Green Bay and gotten blown out in a very hostile environment, but they fought and they showed that they're still a force to be reckoned with. And I might even go as far as picking them to beat Green Bay the next time they play at home in 2 weeks. So I was very impressed by the Bears, but the Packers did get the win. as I expected them to, but the Bears, to me, showed a lot in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I do love your perspective. I think the Bears did play pretty well. But also, I think the Packers kind of had an interesting season as well. And now they're starting to play some of their best football at the best time of the year. And I do think that they will be pretty dangerous going into playoffs because Love has his weapons back. They're not dropping balls, and they have a very capable defense and as well as a good running game. So I think with this division win and a strong record versus their division opponents, now that they are 4-0 in the division, the Packers have definitely improved their playoff seeding prospects, and I think that will give them the advantage with the matchups, and we'll probably see some more home game plays for them. And so I think that's just going to be very important in such a tight NFC race. So I just think that grabbing this tiebreaker over Chicago is huge, and it's going to continue to build their momentum for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I go back to just like the last play of the game for the Bears. And Caleb Williams, that throw to Colston Loveland should not have even been thrown. The correct play would have been to DJ Moore, just right near the first down marker, and he had space to take it himself. Williams really tried to force it, but if he just makes the right play to DJ Moore, you never know what would happen. We'd be probably talking about a Bears win here. But hey, these teams get another shot at it in 2 weeks, and with no Rome Odunze this past week, hopefully he can maybe be back in 2 weeks, and we can see a different result for the Bears.
The Lakers pulled out a big road win in Philadelphia Sunday night, topping the Sixers 112-108 behind a clutch finish from the glorious King himself. LeBron was dominant in the closing minutes, scoring 10 of the Lakers' last 12 points, including a go-ahead three with just over a minute left and a fadeaway to put the game out of reach. He finished with 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, plus a signature crown celebration that had the crowd reacting. Luka Doncic back after missing 2 games for the birth of his daughter. He had dad mode activated as he recorded an absurd triple-double with 31 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists. All 5 Lakers starters hit double figures as Los Angeles moved to 17-6 on the year. Tyrese Maxey led Philadelphia with 28 points, but Joel Embiid, despite tying the game late, struggled tremendously, making just 4 of 21 shots for 16 points. The Sixers had one final chance, but the LA defense came up with the stop. The win marks the Lakers' first victory in Philadelphia since 2017 and caps a strong East Coast trip, with LeBron showing he can still take over when it matters most. So, what did you guys enjoy from this game, and then what were some standouts for you?
LeBron James performance was so good for the soul. Like, let's be honest, that was so good for the soul. He absolutely took over in the fourth, scoring 10 straight just by himself. And then you see him hitting the silencer, and he's celebrating. I mean, you just had a smile. You just had a smile if you were a Laker fan. I think what's most impressive about this game is, Doncic comes back. He was just in Slovenia. He was in a different country. He was in a different continent, literally less than 48 hours ago for this game, and he had a 30-point triple-double. He's literally MVP of the league, in my opinion. But then the most important thing is Austin Reeves. He was 3 for 16 from the field. And the Lakers are low-key safe from Rui Hachimura because he hit so big shots. Every shot was just timely. He's automatic from the corner from 3. He's been really a great presence for this Lakers team. And then DeAndre Ayton, he's just exactly what the Lakers needed. Another 14-12 game for him. The one concerning thing for the Lakers is their bench scoring only had 10 points. If I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm desperately on the phone trying to get an offensive player, add some quality offensive depth on this bench. But other than that, you can't be mad. Lakers are flying high.
Yeah, man. I mean, Luka's dad's strength, it's just starting to show it more. It's getting more impressive by the moment. He's the leading scorer in the league for a reason. I mean, he has 13 games, including this one, scoring 30-plus, and 5 scoring for 40-plus. I mean, you can't make this up at all. And even with Reeves, they've been such a great duo this season, even with Reeves not having a great game at all whatsoever, Bron's 29 points really did help him later in the long run, especially in the fourth quarter, like we mentioned there too. So this could be the start of the little bounce back for Bron after having his slow start coming back from the injury. But these 29 points, once LeBron starts getting going, this whole Lakers team's gonna start getting going. But I'm not too worried about Reeves. It's just one game. He's gonna have a little bounce back. But the one thing I'm impressed about is the turnover battle. Yes, Philly did win the turnover battle. They only had 6 to the Lakers 10, but only 10, especially with the amount of turnovers the Lakers commit. This is a little bit more impressive too. So the turnover battle, everything's looking good for the Lakers as far as right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, everyone at this desk here, Lakers jerseys here. Sasha has a LeBron jersey on, so we're all on the right side of history. Also, Jonathan pointed out a name, Rui Hachimura. We have to give some respect. It's a Wizards jersey, but don't worry about that. Shout out to Rui Hachimura. Not only did he have a bunch of clutch shots, we'll just keep this right here. Not only did he have a bunch of clutch shots in the Sixers game, but the game against the Raptors when LeBron, I almost shed a tear when I saw this on Instagram. When LeBron James passed up, he had the opportunity to go for the 10-point streak again, passed it up to Rui, and then Rui hit the game winner. Man, it's just, I'm getting teary-eyed right now just thinking about
The
it.
streak lives on, though, because that was in Canada.
It was in
the
Canada.
American
That
streak.
doesn't count.
Yeah,
In America, the streak
the
lives
U.S.
on.
streak
The
lives on.
streak lives
The
on.
U.S.
The streak
America
lives
lives
on.
on. Yep.
It does, but 5 days ago, people were saying LeBron James is washed. He's old. He's all this. For LeBron to come out and really, I'd almost say have to take over because in the fourth quarter, Luka wasn't doing as much as he did earlier in the game. Reeves, he did everything he usually does. Shots just weren't falling. Sometimes you're going to have those games. But LeBron just shot after shot, almost gave me flashbacks to like early Lakers days, like the Heat days. Like he wanted the ball. Every shot you knew was going in already. And then just to see that celebration. For him, he talked about it after the game. He's never done the silencer and the crown celebration together. He probably needed that moment because he's been hearing people say, oh, LeBron's washed. They need to trade him. Just crazy stuff. So for him to do that, that was probably the biggest morale booster for him. And so I think going forward, this Lakers team is just fine. As you mentioned, we need some bench scoring maybe, but this was a great effort, a great 2-game stretch from Toronto to Philly. And Rui Hachimura really needs his flowers. He's been doing a great job. So shout out to Rui.
Yeah, definitely. LeBron did have an amazing game, but I did just want to point out, as you did for Luka, considering everything that he just went through within the last 48 hours, but especially how unstoppable Luka and AD were in every high pick and roll, because every time AD set the screen, Philly just had no good response. And if they switched, Luka made the defense really pay from what we saw. So, and if they stayed back, he walked into an easy shot or hit AD on the roll. So I just really think that became the play of the fourth as well, and that really helped build momentum for the team and kind of shift it. And I just think if they keep playing with smart strategy like that, then they'll really perform well throughout the season.
Real quick, we kind of didn't mention anything about the Sixers, but if you guys have any thoughts about this, is Embiid washed? Like it felt like he was forcing a lot of shots. He went 4 for 20 from the field. What do you think about Embiid?
I think Embiid is. I've been a fan of him. I was a fan of his, like winning the MVP. Everyone said like, "Well, should have been Jokic," and that kind of thing a couple years ago. I think he's regressed a little bit this year. I think when you have so many knee injuries, he can't even like jump the same. He can't run the same as he did in his MVP season. So earlier this season, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the Sixers now they have Maxey, they have Edgecombe, they have these young guys. It's time to move on from Embiid and Paul George." In my mind, I was like, if Embiid's healthy, he's still one of the best players in the league. But he's been at least. I don't know about healthy, but he's been playing, and he just hasn't looked like the same guy. So I think he's regressing a little bit. But also, it could just be a slump. Sometimes when you're having a bad shooting game, you want to shoot yourself out of it. He tried, and it didn't work. 4 for 21 is pretty bad. He still managed to get 16 points because free throw merchant. But overall, I think he might be regressing a little bit. But I wouldn't say – I think kind of similar to the slump we saw LeBron in, I think Embiid will come out of it and still be fine.
No, yeah, I definitely think he definitely does need help Maxey because when Matthew was the leading scorer for the Tyrese Maxey was the leading scorer for the Sixers game with 28 points, and I love Tyrese Maxey. I know he's going to get it anytime he got Gracie in there too, but he can't do it. One player cannot do it all alone. And Embiid, yeah, like you said, could be a little slow regression. Who knows there too? He's been getting a lot of criticism over these past years about not stepping up when it really needs to be. But when you got a guy like Tyrese Maxey on your team who's able to get the job done for the most part, he's not going to be able to do it alone. So he's going to have to find some rhythm later on in the season. The Anaheim Ducks are soaring ahead this season after putting good old-fashioned BTA on the Chicago Blackhawks this past Sunday. The Ducks dominated the Blackhawks 5-0 early in the first 2 periods. Jacob Trouba took advantage of a bad turnover for the first goal, but the wave of attacks came in the second period. Shots were made left and right with center Mason McTavish recovering a deflected shot to sneak one through, and 19-year-old rookie right winger Paget Seneca following suit to send one through for a cross-ice goal and a 3-0 lead. The Ducks kept the streak going with a left winger Alex Killeron receiving control of a saucer pass and outpacing the narrowing Blackhawks defender to send one top shelf. Moments later, center Leo Carlson sent one through off a drop pass to make it a 5-0 lead going into the third. The Ducks set a new club record of 27 shots on goal in the second period, surpassing the previous mark set on January 1st, 1994. They are now 18-10-1 on the season and still lead the Pacific Division. They'll look to extend their winning streak to 3 games as they head into a 5-game road trip, starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So guys, the Ducks, they're finally making some noise after previously losing to the Blackhawks the last 2 games, 1-2 and 3-5. They really got everything going on the offense too. So looking at this young Ducks team, how confident are you guys for them for the remaining of the season?
I just want to ask first, you mentioned BTA. What does that mean?
I'm not gonna get into that.
Okay.
Into depth. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not gonna get into that.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify. Yeah, but in my opinion, I think, especially in Anaheim, when you have a team like the Angels that underperforms year after year, I think having the Ducks, having them be such a great team right now is really like a highlight for the city. I mean, you're looking at a team they beat in the Capitals, who are first place in their division at 17-8, and also beating a Blackhawks team that was 12-10. So it's like when you have a young team that plays well in the beginning of the season, it's like, are they going to be legit? Are they gonna fall off at some point? I think they're kind of showing they are a team to be reckoned with in the NHL, and definitely, I mean, being two good teams, 5-game road trip is gonna, I guess, show a little more of their character if they can go and win some games on the road. But definitely, those 2 games over the weekend, especially 7-0, is, as you mentioned, that's a huge win. So definitely showing people that they're legit this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think also what really stood out to me was just their discipline, because they took just 4 penalty minutes compared to the Blackhawks, who had 10, and that really limited Chicago's power play chances and really gave Anaheim control for like majority of the game. And they converted 2 of their 5 power plays at 40%, which is well above league average of 21.6%. So I think staying out of the box really kept their top players in good shape for the 5-on-5 play. And then they were able to apply consistent pressure, especially in that 27-shot period in the second. And so I think that period almost matters more than scoring 7, because it shows how consistent their offensive zone time is, and that they have good breakouts and they're really allowed to steal the puck back when it matters most. And those are definitely repeatable behaviors, so that's really going to do them well for the duration of the season, because it's not like they're just having fluky scoring. Like, it's consistent behavior, and it's the result of a system that is really working for them, and it will continue to do that.
Yeah, Sasha, just to add on to what you were kind of saying, they outshot Chicago by 33. I mean, that's kind of absurd if you're telling me. But, in this game, Leo Carlsson, his record-pacing season just continues. He scored 2 goals. Now he's up to 38 points. I mentioned last week how the Ducks franchise record is 112 points, and he's currently on his way to break that. He's currently on his way to 112 points, and that would be the record for the franchise. But, Justin, you kind of alluded to, can they sustain this play? They're currently first in the Pacific Division, and they now have the 31st ranked remaining strength of schedule. That means they have the second easiest schedule in all of the NHL. This might be the year of the Ducks, but just to backtrack onto the Blackhawks, they're in their last 2 games, they've been outscored 13-1, 7-1 against the Ducks, and then a couple days before, my LA Kings put BTA to them, shutting them out 6-0. So they have some problems on the defensive side for the Blackhawks, but who cares about them? We are in SoCal, and the Ducks, they look good, unfortunately.
Yeah, they do look good, but, finally something good at Anaheim, since I know you're an Angels fan, and they're going to continue to be a bad team for the next coming years.
All right.
Prayers up for Angels.
Yeah.
All right.
After more back-and-forth action, freshman Nicole Steiner took over, scoring a putback tip-in for the lead, followed by hitting 2 clutch free throws with just over 3 seconds left to break the 80-80 tie. She also finished with a double-double. Fullerton's defense closed out the final inbound, securing a 4-5 record and a 2-0 start in Big West play, with 4 players in double figures and 27 forced turnovers. The Titans will have a brief 3-game break from conference play, beginning with Portland State at Titan Gym on Saturday. Now, with more on this historic victory for the Titans, let's lob it up to Sasha, who is ready to throw it down. Sasha, take it away.
Thank you, Justin. This past weekend, the Cal State Fullerton women's basketball played their first Big West home opener against the Hawaii Wahine women's basketball team. It was a very exciting night with a long-lasting game, and we'll get into that pretty shortly. But from the opening minutes to the end, both teams were consistently neck and neck, creating a very competitive night of basketball where the Titans eventually earned their home game win. So I just want to point out how important it is to look at the Big West postseason coaches poll, because Fullerton proved that this preseason ranking means nothing when the ball goes up. As we can see, we're ranked number 10, with Hawaii being favored in the first seed, but once the game tipped off, none of that really mattered. Let's go ahead and take a look. So within the first, the score is close. Munoz makes a shot from the wing, tying the score 9-9. Then the Titans hustle to bring the ball into the net. A loose ball causes a quick scramble, but they quickly correct and score. And then we have a strong drive here from Dylan Swindle, attacking the paint and finishing through contact. Then here we have a Titans steal, which turns into a clean fast break down the court and then an amazing bucket by Swindle. Here she goes again. Swindle shoots it on the wing, deep three into the net. That shot closes out the quarter and gives the Titans huge momentum as they're heading into the final frame. Layla Davis brings the score even closer as they enter the bottom of the fourth, 75-72. Then here we see Christiana Jones drives hard, she absorbs the contact and still gets it to fall as she's energizing the team as the score ties in almost the final minute. Steiner snags the rebound and powers it back up for two, giving the Titans the momentum they need to close out the game. Fullerton finishes the game with a hard-fought win over Hawaii with 3.4 seconds left on the clock. Steiner sank both free throws, securing the Titans' 82-80 victory, showing they can compete with the top teams in the Big West. So my question for you guys is, what were some highlights you saw in the game, and then how do you think this is going to affect their play for the rest of the season?
Yeah, thank you, Sasha. You did an amazing job. I think for me, being at this game, it was electric. I think being a Cal State Fullerton fan, when it comes to sports, we're used to seeing our team compete and be in close games, but you're also used to seeing the teams kind of choke and lose at the end of those games. So being there, right, the Titans were up by 10 going into the fourth quarter, seeing Hawaii storm back a 15-2 run, it was within like 4 minutes. I was like, oh, here we go. It's the the typical story. We're going to get close and then lose. But John Bonner's team being able to come back after going down by 5, that was the biggest thing to me. They were up, of course, but they faced adversity. They were down 5 with less than 5 minutes left and still were able to fight back and get the win. To me, that was the biggest thing that shows this team is legit. And this is, like Sasha mentioned, the #1 preseason team in Hawaii. To me, didn't look like the #1 team, but Cal State Fullerton also showed we are a force to be reckoned with and put the whole Big West on notice. So shout out to Coach Bonner. Shout out to the team. Shout out to Maddie Taro. She played a great game. Christina Jones, as we mentioned, Dylan Swindle, Nicole Steiner. This team is meshing very well. So many young players, and I have a feeling within the years to come, this Cal State Fullerton team is going to be a team to be reckoned with, and they showed that with this huge win against Hawaii.
Yeah, Sasha, you mentioned it in the graphic. This team was projected to finish second to last place in the Big West Conference, 10th. They're currently 2-0 in conference play. They picked up their conference opener win against Cal Poly, and then they come to Titan Gym and they beat the #1 preseason ranked team in Hawaii. Christina Jones, after missing the game against Cal Poly, comes back off the bench and scores 22 points. She's been amazing all year. And then you have Dylan Swindle. I just loved how she played all game on Saturday on the offensive end. She was very aggressive, like you mentioned it, and she forced 10 free throw attempts, and she finished with 19 points. And then you mentioned it, Justin, Maddie Taro, she's here. Conference play started, now she's averaging 16 points per game in conference play.
She was just waiting for the games to be important.
Exactly. Big time players show up when big time players show up when it matters, and that's exactly what she's been doing. But I want to give big credit to Coach John Bonner because this team is so good on the defensive end. They are so scrappy. They are full court pressing all 4 quarters. And in conference play, they lead the Big West with 20 steals per game, that is insane. So big shout out to Coach Bonner because this team is a complete 180 from the team we saw last season, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm really loving this chemistry, what Bonner's been doing with the girls this. I mean, like we mentioned before, 4 players hit double-digit points there too. The defense has been outstanding, and you're looking at stats. They love playing hard, like you mentioned. 31 points off the turnovers from Hawaii, and then 56 in the paint. They're definitely dominating what it really needs to be. And then one other big thing, they won the turnover battle compared to Hawaii's 27. They only had 12. So everything's really clicking to them. I just want to see more. Hopefully they don't lose momentum more in later games. Where they have a huge lead, they're starting to cutting it down a bit there too. And it's pretty much gonna be the same story over again there too. But the chemistry is great. It's a very fast-paced team. Everything's clicking for them so far. And in conference play, 2-0. Let's hope they can go undefeated, which really hope for the best, especially with the way this team's clicking right now.
Yeah, definitely. This game was definitely an accomplishment because it was Fullerton's first win against Hawaii since 2020, which is ending over a 12-game losing streak with them. So their dominance really within the paint shows how incredible that they are and that they're really working to kind of outscore their teams correctly and make those correct plays and then apply pressure exactly where it's needed.
And also one thing I really liked, I was able to cover that game for the Daily Titan. Go read the article if you haven't already. But just talking to Coach John Bonner, I mentioned the preseason poll, And he literally, like, he cut me out before I finished. He was like, we don't pay attention to polls and rankings. We just go out there. Our team is full of grown women the same way the other team is, and we know we can beat any team on any given night. So just hearing that, I'm like, I have so much confidence in this coach and so much confidence in this team to go on and have a great season this year.
Yeah, just to add on to quickly what you said and what Christian said, you know, seeing this team when Kawhi made that little run to really they took the lead for a second, you kind of just get nervous. You're like, oh, I don't know, can we swing the momentum back? And that's exactly what they did. And for sure, last year's team would not have been able to do that. So big credit to Coach Bonner. Who cares about preseason polls? It matters what you do in the season. And so far, they've been doing really well.
And with that, that about wraps everything up. Thank you so much for tuning in to Titan Sports this season. Please give us a follow on Instagram and X at Titan TV CSUF and on TikTok at Titan TV_CSUF. Now, before we sign off, we'd like to give a huge thanks to all of our viewers and fans, as well as our entire production crew that has been working very hard behind the scenes this entire season. Without them, none of this would be possible. We don't always agree, and some of us support different teams that aren't as good, like the horrendous Dallas Cowboys or the Los Angeles Angels. However, we all bring a fresh perspective, which is what makes being a part of this show so worthwhile. Having said that, we hope you enjoyed the show and look forward to seeing you all on the next season of
Titan Sports!